Welcome back to the ABC Murders. Alright, I've gotten everything I think that I need from this room. So let's go and talk to Betty's sister again. Where is she anyway? Is she outside?
It is not the right time.
What else am I supposed to do?
They're all Miss Modest, but the Barnards are definitely music lovers.
Listen to Betty's record. Oh. That's right, he said he wanted to hear it.
Let us see. What is this cupboard hiding?
There's the record. And there's, what is this? Oh, a chart. How, silences break down. Okay. 4/4 scale. Anything on the back? Okay.
This looks like solfège. This looks like solfège. That doesn't work. I must have forgotten a step.
I guess I gotta zoom in on it first. Okay.
That doesn't work. I must...
Is there something else I gotta do with this? Oh. There's more.
There is bound to be a clue somewhere.
Okay. That's what I needed that other one for. So I can change these around. So I'm trying to get this, which is 4. And I've got 3 of these. I need... Oh, no, I've got 3. Okay, I need that. The upside down one is 1. The right side up ones are 2. And what I'm trying to get is 4.
There is bound to be a clue somewhere.
That should work, right? That's 2. This one plus 1. Just 4. And that's 4. Can I move this one too? No? Right side up ones are 2. So, or I'm going in the wrong direction, probably. Right. So I would need 2 of these equals that. And then that. Okay. Yeah, I'm going in the wrong direction. That's what I was doing.
There is bound to be a clue. I heard the sound of a mechanism being triggered.
00A. There's probably a clue for that somewhere. I don't think it's is it on this note? Probably not.
This looks like solfège. There is probably a link with what I saw in the drawer.
Yeah. Okay. 00. I can do any number here and this any letter. Any clue on the record itself? 78T.
I just have to put the record on the gramophone and start it.
That's where the lever goes. That's an awful lot of secretive stuff just to make a gramophone work. Huh?
That doesn't work.
You need to look that up. I need to flip that again to bring that down. Oh, not there. Bring the needle down. Okay, I guess I gotta get here. Push this down.
It looks like something goes in here.
This is where the crank goes.
Oh, Donald! We're in the middle of recording.
Sorry, Betty, but it's not wise. The doctor said you should risk your voice.
You're such a killjoy sometimes.
Betty was such a good singer.
It's true. Did she have any problem with her throat?
Yes, she had to be careful with her voice. Of course, she didn't follow the doctor's advice. If Don didn't insist, she... Well, it's too late for all that now.
I've finished with this subject.
So can I talk to Margaret again? Yes, she's back here.
It looks like this woman is single, but she has feelings for someone. She is looking so intensely at this photo. But is it really a sister that she's studying in this manner? They made the perfect couple, am I correct?
Yes, in a way. She was pretty and he...
Well?
He's a bright man, with a promising career ahead of him. He would have made Betty a good husband. He was always attentive and generous. Oh, a true gentleman.
I hear a note of envy in your voice.
You must have heard wrong.
Donald appeared to be very much in love with your sister.
Yes, he was mad about her.
Mad, you say? Being madly in love can often be destructive, and Mr. Fraser was known for being jealous, I believe.
No more than average. Men are always slightly possessive, especially when they are with a pretty woman.
I'm gonna go easy on her.
I am not your enemy, Mademoiselle Bernard.
And you are not my friend either, Mr. Poirot, sir.
Yes, but your lies are not helping Mr. Fraser, or you for that matter. I know that Fraser was jealous, but I wonder why you feel the need to protect him.
Protect him? I hope you're not suggesting...
That you are Fraser's accomplice? There is nothing to suggest that, at least not yet. It would appear that your sister's murder is the second in a series that we have to stop as quickly as possible. The first was in Andover, and the same as your sister, the murderer sent me a letter informing me that a crime would be committed in that town. Now can I count on your honesty?
Yes, you have my confidence, Mr. Poirot. Don is a quiet and sensitive young man. Slightly reserved, too. And as is often the case with reserved people, when he flew into a temper, he completely lost control. He could be so violent. Betty was frightened.
And when was this?
The first time was about a year ago. But they rowed more recently. Donald found out that Betty had lied to him. She said she was going out with a girlfriend, but she went out for dinner with a married man. It was an awful scene. She told him that until they were married, she was free to go with whoever she pleased. Donald turned quite pale and started shaking and kept saying one day...
Well?
He'd commit murder.
Do you think that is what happened?
No, Mr. Poirot, I don't believe that. You yourself said he may be a recidivist madman. Don loved Betty with all his heart. I can't imagine for one instant that he would hurt her.
Very good, Mademoiselle Bernard. Thank you for your help.
Fraser is at the Ginger Cat. The police haven't spoken to him, but they want to.
Très bien, Hastings. Let's see him now. Au revoir, mademoiselle. My deepest condolences to your parents.
Of course, Mr. Poirot. And don't be too hard on Don. He's more fragile than he looks.
If you say so.
Oh, I'm gonna grill the shit out of him.
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
What is Megan... What had Betty planned to do with her evening? She was gonna go out with the whiskey dude. Okay, that's probably gonna be for narrowing things down. Betty lied to Donald because she had a date with another man. And who was it? It was Whiskey Man. No. Oh, did Betty know her assailant? I think she did. Well, recently. A lot of visitors at this time of year. What if someone leaves this? The man seduced Betty before taking her to the beach. Yes.
Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
What is Megan Bernard's behavior hiding? Megan has a soft spot for Donald. Did Megan Bernard have a motive for killing her sister? Well, she's the sole heir. But I did dismiss that as I don't think they're wealthy enough to make that. So I guess not. Megan was jealous. Okay. Have I done all of these? What had Betty planned to do with her evening? I've done this one, right? Yes. Are there any I haven't done? Guess not. Okay, let's go down to the restaurant. It's like a lot of times I know the answer, but I don't know exactly which.
You've seen Fraser, Hastings. What is your feeling?
He's a big chap. Fragile isn't exactly the word that springs to mind. I talked to his landlady before seeing him. She went to bed at 11. Fraser wasn't home yet.
Bien. Megan Barnard said he is a reserved character but with a nasty temper. We will see if this is the case.
I usually know what it is I'm trying to say, it's just I don't always know exactly which clues to use. Sometimes I get ahead of myself, trying to arrive at the conclusion too quickly. There he is. Can I talk to her again?
I don't want this young man here. Be quick and do what you must.
I guess I can't look at him first.
How do you do, Mr. Fraser?
You Hercule Poirot. Mr. Hastings said you wanted to speak to me.
Yes. I know that it may not be at the right time, but I would like to ask you a few questions.
Now I can look at him.
This man looks suspicious.
Well, he's unshaven. He's drinking. He's got marks on his hand. Oh, he drinks White Horse whiskey too.
Leave me alone.
Dark circles.
Donald Fraser is in a terrible state, as if he hadn't slept all night. And he's drinking White Horse.
Leave me alone. Tell me that it's a mistake. That Betty isn't dead.
Sadly, your lady friend has been murdered, Mr. Fraser.
Oh, Betty, if only you'd listened.
What would have happened if she'd listened to him?
If she had listened to you, she would still be alive. Should I take that to be a confession?
With that sort of thinking, you must send a lot of innocent men to prison. Under different circumstances, I might even find you amusing, sir.
It's no time for amusement, Mr. Fraser. It is time to find your fiance's killer. Did you know what her plans were for the evening?
She said she was having dinner with her sister.
Yet, Megan only returned to Bexhill this morning, Mr. Fraser.
I didn't know.
Right. May I ask you what you were doing yesterday evening?
I spent the evening working.
Your colleagues can confirm this?
No, I often take work home with me.
Therefore, you have no alibi, Mr. Fraser?
That's right. But that doesn't make me a murderer, Mr. Poirot. I would like you to leave now, please.
Ah, I knew I'd find you here, Poirot. I thought the victim's young man was here.
Yes, is all yours, Chief Inspector. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Did he have a motive? Absolutely. For Betty, anyway. I don't know about Ms. Asher. Donald had a motive for killing her: jealousy. Does Donald have an alibi? No. Donald may have been at the beach and killed Betty. Does Donald have a motive for all the murders? And that's where the problem arises. Donald may have killed Betty, but he does not have a motive for Miss Asher's murder.
Hastings looks ill at ease. He really doesn't like Fraser.
Alright, so my next move is return to the crime scene. Both of them.
Fraser doesn't have an alibi and he's extremely jealous.
You are very skilled at summing up.
And yet you haven't asked Japp to arrest him.
It is too soon. But I agree, without the letters announcing the crimes, Fraser would already be behind bars. Bon, I think we have enough elements. Let's reconstruct the events at the scene of the crime.
I can't imagine how the murderer wasn't seen, though. Surely she must have struggled.
Let us try and imagine the scene. The killer and the victim are walking on the beach. Miss Betty has a bag, a belt around her waist, and carries her shoes in her hand. Both of them walk slowly to hut number 5.
going.
Both of them walk slowly to hut number 6.
She changes.
Miss Betty enters the hut. She leaves without her belongings. Then she hides a code.
They were further down the beach than this. But he could have taken the belt off there. Well, let's keep going.
They keep walking. Then she removes her belt.
The murderer moves behind her and then attacks her by surprise. The body falls, lifeless, on the sand.
Everything appears to match the crime scene, mon cher Hastings. That is exactly what happened.
So she took off the belt herself. Is she gonna go skinny dipping?
Without the ABC, we might have suspected Mr. Asher and Mr. Fraser. But by timing his crimes, the murderer is making sure he's accused. In a way, it is very generous of him.
Generous? The murderer seduced Betty in order to lure her to the beach and kill her.
Indeed, the young woman was certainly careless, but not stupid enough to follow a stranger.
What are you planning to do, Poirot?
Return to London, mon cher Hastings. This hut is locked.
If it was Donald Fraser, then what is his motive for killing Miss Asher?
Japp has decided to reveal details to the press. The alphabet murder is now famous.
It is not a bad idea. The more people who know, the greater our chances of finding out something of interest.
Poirot, I have a bad feeling.
Get another letter.
Poor Mr. Poirot, not so good at these little criminal matters as you thought yourself, are you? Rather past your prime, perhaps. Let us see if you can do any better this time. This time, it's an easy one. Churston on the 30th. Do try and do something about it. It's a bit dull having it all my own way, you know. Good hunting. Ever yours, ABC. Good hunting. Did you hear that, Poirot? The murderer seems to be taking it all as a game, a challenge. He will strike on 30th in Churston. We must warn Scotland Yard.
Why, it's the 30th right now.
Hastings, today is the 30th.
No time to lose. We must prepare our suitcases for Churston.
Mon Dieu, it is already 10 o'clock. I will call Scotland Yard immediately.
I don't want to leave yet. Where's my phone?
Hello, Japp. We received a new letter from ABC in the 10 o'clock post.
Where and when?
In Churston. Today.
Today? I'll inform the population immediately.
I'll check the train times. Call me back. Hastings, what you are doing is an absolute disaster. That is no way to pack suitcases.
Heavens, we must hurry. We have to get to Churston before the murder.
Hastings' order and method are always necessary, regardless of the circumstances.
Okay. I'll let you pack them.
Oh, is this going to be a mini game?
Or the same.
Oh, wow.
It really is a disgrace to leave your belongings in such a mess.
Badly close toothpaste. Unprotected bottles. Messy shirts. It's a bath towel, okay. Badly folded pajamas. Hot socks.
Voila. It only took a minute.
Poirot, you were right. I've just consulted the ABC guide. There's no hurry. The next train doesn't leave till 11:45.
You see, there is no need to hurry. We will not be in Churston until tomorrow morning. After the murder.
But why has the murderer warned us so late? It's not what he usually does. Did he do it on purpose?
Very good question, Hastings. We should also compare the letter we have just received with the other two. Although I have very little doubt about what we will find.
Can I pick those up off the ground?
In his haste, Hastings tore the envelope.
Can't flip it. Guess not. What about this other one? Not known at White Horse Mansions and White Horse Court. Try Whitehaven Mansions.
Poor Mr. Poirot. Not so good at this little criminal matter. Daily Flicker, July 30, 1935. ABC affair, no progress. The alphabet murderer is still on the run. Ever since the police found the connection between the Bexhill and Andover affairs, the inquiry has barely progressed. In this issue, we are publishing provocative letters sent by the killer to Hercule Poirot. Unfortunately, they have not yet helped to find him. Daily Flicker, July the 26th, 1935. The Bexhill Horror. Young maid strangled on the beach. Killer struck at midnight. Right, let us compare this new letter with the second one. Let us examine this more closely. Certain characters in the two letters may have similar defects. Yes, this I is weird. Right, let us go. Yes, the I characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. I have to find some others. Yes, the A appears to be quite unusual. Right, That That's right. The A characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects.
Yeah, these are
I
clearly...
have to find some other similar defects to confirm my theory.
These are clearly for the same person. It's too early for a copycat. We've only announced the connection like a day or two earlier, so...
The W. Right. Let us compare this with the other letter.
I wouldn't expect a copycat this early.
Of course, the W characters in the two letters do indeed have the same defects. My theory was right. These two letters were written with the same typewriter. Let us now try and get our brain cells to work.
Why does the murderer warn us so late? Maybe because we've sent out... the information has gone out. So there's a sense of urgency. Oh, wrong address, yes. So the letter should have gotten there sooner, but it was addressed incorrectly. It was sent at the right date. It just didn't arrive here until now, because it was addressed incorrectly. The letter arrived late because of an error in the address.
The letter should have arrived in time. The postmark shows that it was sent 3 days ago. However, our man made a mistake in the address, which explains the delay. All the same, the post office took their time correcting the error.
Come on, Poirot. Your address is not quite as well known as that of Scotland Yard. Poirot, the telephone. It must be Jap.
Let me guess, they found the body.
I have some news from Churchton. Bad news, I'm afraid. Sir Carmichael Clark was murdered while out on his evening walk.
Sir Carmichael Clark. The name is familiar to me.
He was a famous throat specialist, one of the best in London. A wealthy man, he retired to Combside, a beautiful house by the sea. He collected antiques.
Are you going there?
Yes, let's meet on the train. The victim is called Sir Carmichael Clark, one of the best throat specialists in London. The body was still warm when we found it. If we'd been warned earlier, we definitely could have saved him.
It appears that the murderer made a mistake when he wrote his letter.
A mistake? Lucky for him.
And what if he did it on purpose?
No. He's defined his madcap rules and he's sticking to them. It's a matter of pride for him. Shall we go up to the house, Poirot?
You go, my friends. I will come soon.
Okay. We'll leave off here, and we'll examine the body and the crime scene next time.